Good morning, students. I welcome you all for the class software testing. Unit 3, we're discussing about static testing techniques. In the previous classes, we have discussed about code optimization, yes, and what are the guidelines for C language, C programming language. And today we'll be discussing about what are the guidelines for Java programming language, yes, or Java coding guidelines. So as you have seen, we need to follow these guidelines. If we don't follow, we don't follow these guidelines, your source code cannot be understood by others. So because your program will be used by somebody else, so they will not understand. So because of that, so for testing purpose, we need to say that we need to follow the guidelines. So if you follow the guidelines, everybody can understand your program, what you have written, what is the purpose, what is the logic, and so on that. So as you have seen in the C language, so here there are guidelines. Here also there are some guidelines which we need to follow. What are those guidelines? We're going to discuss it here. The Java coding guidelines, what you can call them. You can call these as, we are here in this today, we're going to discuss what are the guidelines you need to follow while using the Java programming language. The first is backup policy and schedules during development phase. As you know, in your software or in the internet, your data is very, very important. Always you need to take a backup, because the data, if the data is lost, it's very difficult so to get back the data then. So if you don't take a backup, only at the end of the day, what you call 1 day of data will be lost, you can call. So because of that, we need to, in the internet or your computer application, your data is very, very important. So at every end of the day, we take a copy of the data and store it somewhere else. We call that as a backup plan. Backup policy and schedules during development phase. At the end of each day, the software has to be backed up in the specified folder on the server where we need to store the data. So you're working somewhere, maybe now, for example, all are working from home now. So what we need to do, we need to upload the data into the server. So that is what we need to do it, you can call that. Yes. So that is what you call backup policy. At every end of the day, today you're working, at the end of the day, whatever you work, the programs or the files or the whatever you have done it, that has to be copied or stored into the what you can call server. So if something goes wrong to your system also, your data will be available in the server where you can fetch it and you can continue that is what we call backup policy and schedule set. So what we need to do, every day we need to take a backup of your software, what you can call. Next, project folder. What do you mean by project folder? What is that? As you have seen in the C programming, the name of the folder should be the name of your project. Each software developer will have a folder with the name of the project in his directory. Suppose you're doing, or you can call library management system. So library database, you can call. The folder name can be a library database. And in this folder, a file with the name readme should be present. In that particular folder, what you can call, there should be another file with the name, what you can call, readme should be present, what you can call. Yes, fine. What is that? Somebody go through this slide.
Java coding guidelines, backup policy and schedules during development phase. At the end of each day, the software has to be backed up in the specified folder on the server. Project folder. Each software developer will have a folder with the name of the project in his directory. In this folder, a file with the name readme should be present.
Yes, that is what. So as in the C programming, so here also every folder should be name of the particular project what you are doing. That should be the same name you should give it, what you call. Next, what are the naming methods? How to name the particular file there? Yes, methods there. Yes, methods should be named by using a full English description, like using mixed case with the first letter of every non-initial word capitalized. What we need to do here? So we need to name the methods vertical with the first letter capital letter. Yes, that is what you know in the Java programming language. Always the first letter which should begin with the capital. Method should be named by using a full English description. Like for example, method to be finding roots of equation or roots. So root capital R should be the root, what you can call, using mixed case with the first letter of every non-initial word capitalized. The first letter should be capitalized, what you can call them. Yes. Go through somebody.
Naming methods. Method should be named by using a full English description, using mixed case with the first letter of every non-initial word capitalized.
It should be capitalized, what you call. How this is how you need to name the methods, what you can call. Yes, fine. Next. Then some examples. See, open connection. See, you want to correct it. So correction should be capitalized. Print address label. Address A is capital, L is label there. So these are the some of the example for naming the method. Open connection. So C should be capital and A should be capital for address, and label. It's a label. Now printing the address label is a method. So A is capital and L is capital. The remaining all are what you can call the lowercase. Then what are the conventions we follow in Java programming language? The header should be in Java doc format. The important is Java doc tags are as follows. We use to define to write the name of the particular person or author at author name. This is used for classes and interfaces to indicate the authors of the particular code. One tag has to be used per author. For specifying the author name, we should use what you call one tag, what you can call. So the person who has written the program, so that is he is the author there. So this is how we use at author name is used for classes and interface to indicate the who is the author of the particular code, what you can call. Then one has to be used for one author, one tag can be used. There are 5 authors are there, so 5 different author names should be there, you can call. The next tag is at deprecated, what you can call. What do you mean by this? This is used for class and member function to indicate that the application programming interface for the class has been deprecated and should not be used any longer. The particular interface which you don't want to use, so it has to be denied. So you cannot use it. So to indicate that you don't want to use that particular class or what you can call interface for a particular class or a member, you need to use the at depreciated or deprecated tag has to be used. In this way, what you can call, you need to what you can call follow these guidelines. So always you should use the Java what you call document tags. For author name is at author name to specify the author, at deprecated to specify the what you can the classes which you don't want to use, which the member and the classes should not be used. So that is what at deprecated. Yes, somebody go through it.
Java coding convention. The header should be in Java doc format. The important Java doc tags are as follows. At author name, this is used for classes and interfaces to indicate the authors of the code. One tag has to be used per author. At deprecated, this is used for class and member functions to indicate that the API for the class has been depreciated and should not be used any longer.
Yes, so we don't want to use any class, so any interface for a particular class or member, we can use at deprecated as the tag, what you can call that. Yes, next at exception name, at exception name description. This is used for member function to describe the exception that a member function throws. So whenever you want to use the exception, you have to use at exception name description. Yes, one tag per exception should be used, what you can call it. One tag, it has to be used, what you can call. So for specifying the exception, you'll be using at exception name and its description. Then next is for parameter description. This is used for member function to describe a parameter passed to a member function, including its type or class and its usage. Yes, to specify the members of a particular function, we'll be using at param. Param is nothing but parameter and its name and description. It is used for describing the parameters which are passed to a member function, including its what is the type and which class it is in usage, which class can use this parameter, and what type of parameter is this, you can call that. Yes, what type of parameter is this, you can call that is being described by param name description. Then at return description, it is used for member function to describe the return value if any of a member function. Yes, so which any member which is returning a value, to specify that the member or the function is returning a particular value, we have to use a what you call the tag at return description, you can call at return description. So this is used for member function to describe the return value if any of a member function. The type or class and the uses of the return value should be indicated. What type of value the what you call the member function is returning, and to which class it is going to return. It should specify the type of value and the class which the what you call the value the member function is returning that particular value. So these are the some of the guidelines what you need to follow. What are those? At exception name description, we will specify what you call when the when any exceptions are raised, we should use at exception name. And to specify the type of parameters, you have to use at param name description, and the what type of values and to which class the value is being returned, you need to specify what you can call at return description. Yes, somebody go through this. Yes, go through.
Exception name description. This is used for member function to describe the exceptions that a member function throws. One tag per exception should be used. At parameter name description, this is used for member function to describe a parameter passed to a member function, including its type or class and its usage. One tag per parameter has to be used. At return description, this is used for member function to describe the return value, if any, of a member function. The type or class and the uses of the return value should be indicated.
Yes. So these are the guidelines for specifying exceptions, parameters of a function, and how what are the values the function is going to return, what you can call. It's fine. Next, since. What is the since? What you can call? It is used for classes and member function to indicate how long the item has existed in what you can Java. What you can call JDK 1.1. What you can call. Yes. So how many what you can call months or date when it has been started, what you call. So it is being used and member function to indicate how long the item is existed. Yes, to specify that particular date it is going to specify. Then at C class name, it is used for classes, interfaces, member functions, and fields. It generates a hypertext link in the documentation to the specified class. What it is going to use for? This is used for classes, interfaces, member functions, and fields. It generates a hypertext link in the documentation to the specified classes. What you can call. Yes, fine. So this since what you can call is used for what you can call specifying the it will specify since how many days or since how many months or from which date that particular item is existed in Java. Then at C class name is used for class specifying the classes, the interfaces, the member function, and fields. And what it will do, it is going to generate a hypertext link in the documentation to the specified class. So these all you need to follow that. These are all the guidelines what you need to follow in Java. Yes, continue. Somebody else.
At since, this is used for classes and member functions to indicate how long the item has existed since JDK 1.1. At C class name, this is used for classes, interfaces, member functions, and fields. It generates a hypertext link in the documentation to the specified class.
Yes, these are the things what you need to follow. Next. Yes. Then how to naming getters. What are these? Naming getters are the methods that return the value of a particular field, prefix the word get to the name of the particular field. You want to get the what type of value the method is returning that. For specifying that, we use what you can call we call that as a naming getters. We need to specify. We use the word get. If it is a Boolean value, sorry, Boolean field, use the prefix is to the name of the field instead of get. So get value, something like you are trying to get the value. For other parameter, what you can call methods, you should use what you can get, and for any Boolean values, you should use is that. Yes, this is how you need to follow. So we call them as the naming getters. And to get the value and to set the value, we are having what you can call naming setters there. Setters are the methods that modify the values of a particular. You want to change the value of a particular field. You want to change the name. You want to change the marks, or you want to change the mobile number value. You want to change it. So for changing the value, you have got what you can call setters are the methods that modify the values of a particular field. Name of the field should be prefixed with set name. For example, you want to change the name, set name or get name. So get will get the value of a particular method, and what you can call set will set a particular value of a particular field, what you can call that. Then the next is naming constructors. Constructors are the methods that perform the necessary initialization when object is first created. The name of the constructor is same as that of a class. If first class name is student, the constructor name also will be a student. So what are the constructors? They are nothing but they are going to initialize the particular initialize the particular object. When the first time when the object is created, it is going to initialize. We call them as the constructor, and always the constructor name is the same as that of the class name. Yes, go through this. Yes, go through.
Naming getters. Getters are the method that returns the value of a field. Prefix the word get to the name of the field. If it is a Boolean field, use the prefix is to the name of the field instead of get. Naming setters. Setters are the methods that modify the value of a field. Name of the field should be prefixed with set. Naming constructors. Constructors are the methods that perform the necessary initialization when an object is first created. The name of the constructor is same as that of class.
Yes, so these are the guidelines. Naming getters will get the name of a particular field. Naming setters will set the name of a particular field, and constructors are nothing but they're going to initialize the particular class when the first object is created. All these things you need to follow what you can call this. These are the things what you need to follow. That next. Naming fields. How to name the fields, what you can call fields or properties. Fields, that is collections, like for example, name is a field, marks, phone number, and so on. That fields, that is collections such as arrays or vectors, should be given plural names to indicate that they represent values. For example, name is a singular. Names indicate that there are many names. Yes, addresses. Yes, addresses is what you can call a plural, what you can like that. So field name should be given such as it is plural. Marks, not marks. You want to enter the marks of many students, so always it should be a plural article. Fields, that is collections like arrays you may use, or vectors, should be given plural names to indicate that they represent multiple values. The field names or properties, you should give the plural name so that it indicates many values you're going to store it. That is what they mean to say, that you need to follow this convention or guideline. Next, naming components or widgets. Components or widgets have to be named appropriately instead of using button 1, button 2, etc. So use the name like username, password, submit, your mobile number. Use the name there, so that will be easier. Just simply don't use button 1, button 2, or simply like some name Raju or Ravi or whatever it may be. Don't use simple, what you call simply, which will not convey any meaning there. So give the button names, like for example, your username. It will indicate that it's your name, or mail ID. So it will indicate your mail or phone number or mobile. Yes, then you have a submit button there, or class, marks, and so on. So what happened? It will give you that the class button will indicate that you want to enter the class, marks indicate where you want to enter the marks, mobile number indicates where you enter the mobile number. That will give more, it will be more easier for understanding for others. That is what we need to follow. That is how you need to name the components or widget. It will be easy to identify their purpose and type. So when you see that there is a button called as name, it indicates that you should enter the name, or mail ID. So you should enter your email article. Then naming constants. While naming constants, full words should be used. All the letters should be uppercase. For example, maximum size. Maximum size of that you want to define. Maximum size something. Some equal to 0, you want to initialize. It's a constant value. Or for example, pi, value of pi is 3.1412, you want to use it. So it's a constant value. So any constant values, whenever you want to use, it should be always in all uppercase. So the constant should be full words, not half words. It should be a full words. Like for example, as I told, maximum size. So full, you should use the full name, what you call, and it should be in uppercase, what you call. Yes, so this is how you need to name the fields, what you can call. Yes, go through somebody else.
Naming fields or properties. Fields, that is the collection such as arrays or vectors, should be given in the plural names to indicate that they represent multiple values. Naming components or widgets. With components and widgets have to be named appropriately instead of button 1, button 2, Raju, or etc. It will be easy to identify their purpose and type. Naming constants. While roaming constants, full words should be used. All the letters should be in the uppercase.
Yes, so these are the guidelines what you need to follow. That fine. Next. So what you discuss, naming constant again. Naming constant. While naming constant, full words should be used. All letters should be uppercase, and they should be underscore between the words. As I told you, maximum size, 2 words are there. So between maximum and size, you can have a underword, what you can call maximum size. That is how you need to name the constant. Then naming local variables. What is a local variable? The scope of the local variable is confined to the particular function where it is defined. A local variable is a data item that is defined in a method. It is defined within a particular block. Yes. So that is defined in a particular function or a particular method. Naming loop counters. The loop counters name such as I, J, K are used for looping. Using the loop variables, you can use what you can call the variables I, J, K. Other variables, you should use what you call the the name should be given what you can call. Next is some naming exception objects. The letter E is used for naming exception objects. So never use what you can call the variable E. So because we are following some guidelines here, so what you can call what guidelines you are following? The guideline what it says, don't use the variable E there. So whenever you're using the variable E, it indicates that it is an exception there. So it is not what it is a guidelines what we are following there. Letter E used for naming some exception objects. Whenever you want to use any exception, you're going to use the what you call the letter E is used for specifying the objects what you call. So these are the guidelines what you need to follow. So naming constant. So constant should all be in uppercase, and between the 2 words there should be an underscore. No other special characters are allowed. You cannot use hyphen, or you cannot use other characters without space. It is what you can call. You should not. If you're using more than 1 word, there should be always underscore. Don't use hyphen, something like that. Then the scope of the the local variables should be defined in a method or a block where it is used what you call. And for naming the loop counters, you can use the variable I, J, and K. And whenever you want to specify the exception, use a letter E beginning with the letter E, which indicates that it is an exception. Yes, somebody go through this.
Naming constants. While naming constants, full words should be used. All the letters should be in uppercase. There should be underscores between the words. Naming local variables. A local variable is a data item that is defined in a method. It is defined within a block. Naming loop counters. For loop counters, names such as I, J, K are used. Naming exception objects. The letter E used for naming exception objects.
Yes, so these are the guidelines what you need to follow. That is fine. Yes, next, how to name the streams. Next, for naming streams in what you call, for input stream, use in in name is used. For output stream, we use out, OUT. That is fine. Out name is used, what you call. For input stream, in name is used. For output stream, out name is used. For a stream used for both input and output, we use in out name is used. That is for input parameters, we use in. For output, what you can call, we use out. When you want to use both stream IO input and output, we use in and out name is used. So this is how you need to name it, input and output, as well as both in and out, which indicates that you're going to use both the what you can call input and output stream is being used. Next, naming parameters or arguments. How to name it? Parameters are named same as that of local variables. The name should be prefixed with letter P to indicate that it is an argument. So what we use for parameter or argument, it begins with P. For exception, it begin with E, just to indicate that it is a parameter. So we are using what you can call, we are beginning with letter P. P sum, for example, that indicates that this is a P sum is a parameter defined in a particular function, what you can call that. Yes, then the naming classes, the first letter of the class should be a capital. Mixed case is used for the rest of the name. Always the class name begins with the capital letter. That is, first letter of the class should be in capital. Mixed case is used for rest of the name. That is, in this way, you should. These are the guidelines what you need to follow for naming stream, for parameters and naming classes. For input stream, you use in. For output stream, out. For both input and output, you use in out. For defining the parameters should prefix with P, and for naming the classes, it should begin with the capital letters, what it can call. Yes, go through this, somebody.
Naming streams. For input stream, in name is used. For output stream, out name is used. For a stream used for both input and output, in out name is used. Naming parameters or arguments. Parameters are named same as that of local variables. The name should be prefixed with letter P to indicate that it is an argument. Naming classes. First letter of the class should be in capital. Mixed case is used for the rest of the name.
Yes, fine. This is how you need to follow the guideline. Next, how to name the interfaces. Yes, mixed case is used for naming interfaces, combination of uppercase and lowercase, what you can call this. How to name the packages. Package name should indicate its main function. Is what is the, for what purpose? For example, you want to find the what you can call root of an equation. So package can be root or square root of an equation. Square root you want to find. Square root can be a package name. All the classes that can be grouped together are put into their own packages. So what all which are with the classes which are belong to the particular packages are placed into that particular what you can call class, what you call. Package name should indicate its main function. Suppose you are finding the square root. So square root should be the name of a package, what you call. So whichever classes what you can call are there in that particular package, all should be grouped together into that particular package. In this way, we need to follow follow the naming conventions, or for naming interfaces and the naming packages, what you can call this. Fine. Yes, these are the things what we need to discuss. I suppose today's class just will recap the things from the beginning of the today's session. Yes, fine. So today we have discussed what we have discussed. Somebody can you tell me what we discussed today?
Java coding guidelines.
We have discussed the Java coding guidelines. Most of them are sleeping, I suppose that. Yes. So we have discussed some guidelines, what we need to follow there, what we have followed that. So what are the guidelines we need to follow that? Somebody else read these guidelines. Other than the regular students, Elil and Kirtana, I am just seeing only 2 students are active. Others all are passive, I suppose. They are still sleeping, I suppose. Somebody else.
Backup policy.
Just go through. What is backup policy?
Backup policies and schedule during development phase.
Pass somebody else.
Backup policy and schedules during development phase. At the end of each day, the software has to be backup in the specified folder on the server project folder. Each software developer will have a folder with the name of project in this documentary. In this folder, a file with the name README should be present.
Yes, that is how the folder name should be the your project name, and in this there should be a file called as README should be present. And every day we need to provide a backup. We need to take a backup of your project at the end of the day and store it in the server. Then how to name the methods? Somebody else next.
Name methods. Methods should be named by using a full English description using mixed case with the first letter of every non-initial words capitalized.
Yes, so naming method is what? We should name using the English language, and we should use mix, and one will be a capital letter. As you can see, open connection. C is capital, print address label. So that is how we need to use it. Next. Somebody else. It's not audible. Somebody else.
Examples: open connection, print address label, Java coding conventions. The header should be in Java documents format. The important Java documents tags are as follows. At author name, this is used for classes and interfaces to indicate the author of the code. One tag has to be used for author. At deprecated, this is used for class and member functions to indicate the API. So the class has been depreciated and should not be any longer.
Yes, so these are some of the Java coding conventions what we're discussing here. So at what are these are the important Java document, Java doc tags are as follows. These are important what we discuss for specifying author name, at author name, for specific for depreciated, at depreciated, and so on. We're discussing all these things. It's fine. Next one. At exception name, at param name description, and at return. So name to specify the name, we are using what you can call for specifying the exception, we are using at exception. For specifying parameters, we are going to use at parameter. Yes. Then first to specify any the functions which are going to return the value and type of value in the class, we are going to use at return description. Next, we are having since is a tag which will specify since how many days or since which date the particular tag is available in Java. Then at C class name is used for specifying what you can call classes, interfaces, member function, and fields, and will specify a hypertext link in the documentation. Yes. Next is to get the names from the particular field. We are having getters. We call them as a naming getters. So it should like for example you want to get the name, get mobile number, or get mark something to get the value. To set the value, we are having what you can call naming setters. So you have to prefix with what you can call use the set name or set marks and so on. Then naming constructors, what you can call, they're going to initialize when an object is first created, what you can call. Yes, fine. Next is to naming fields, what you can call, you should always use plural names. Yes, names, marks, and so on. Then what you can call, and the button names should be what you should use is what you should use specify names which give some definite meaning. Don't use button 1, button 2, and so on. And constant name should always use uppercase letters, and there can be underscore, what you can call. And the scope of the local variable is what you call, wherever it is being defined. Loop counters can be I, J, and K, and exception should always begin with E, what you can call. And for input stream in, for output stream out, and in out for both. For parameters, it should always begin with P, and the classes should always begin with capital letters, first one. And naming interfaces, it should be a combination of that. And package name should be begin what you can call, it should specify